One of my followers on Twitter has said Taurean, Phil from the African Diaspora channel posted up something concerning Candace Owens and someone who knew her personally back during her days in high school. And I said, say no more. Let me go over there and check this out. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the audio for you. Now, this is a screenshot. This is actually coming from that channel. And this is the person right here on the screen. Now, I'm not going to play the video off of the channel. I'm just going to play the audio. Now, listen to what this person says. Now, what they're going to talk about is something we already knew about Candace, but it's always good to have a visual or an audio aid to go along with it. But there is going to be some additional stuff that they're going to talk about that we did not know.
Of this culture.
You can stick around if you want. You can go watch the original video for context. I got something to say to Candace. She's probably never going to see this, but I just want to say my piece. Hey, Candace. Hey, girl. You remember high school? I remember high school. It was quite a while ago. It was like 15 years ago. You remember 2007? I remember 2007. I remember some very horrible things happened to you in 2007, and some very racist white children called you, including the mayor's son, and said some very racist things to you and threatened your life. That should have never happened to you. That was terrible. I remember you sued the school board for that. I remember because everybody was talking about it. My family was talking about it. My grandma was calling up your grandma. The entire school system was talking about it. It was a huge deal because the mayor's son was involved, and you had the NAACP backing you up when that happened, and they got you your settlement. I think you should have gotten more, because I am always ready to let racists' pockets bleed. But regardless, NAACP backed you up. The black community backed you up. I don't know a single black person who was not backing you up. And I've read some of the statements that you've made about that time and about how no one supported you. And that everybody just threw you under the bus. And I do remember that. I do remember white people were very vocal about their want for violence towards you. It was deplorable. But that was not the black community. And, a lot has happened since then. You've definitely made a bed for yourself. You're lying in it. That's all good and dandy for you. You've decided to step on the necks of the people who supported you when you were at your lowest. And, those of us who've known you for a while have just watched you. We watched you switch platforms in 2017 when you came out on YouTube. We watched you go from trying to fight the good fight to realizing the good fight don't get you paid and go into where the money resides. I would say I'm not mad at you for chasing the bag, but you're chasing the bag at the expense of your people. And that's some coon shit. You made a career out of being a coon. So when you say you never wanted to be a part of the culture, remember, the culture is the one who supported you when no one else would.
Now, I did hear about...
Okay, so now it goes into Phil talking about, or giving his commentary on the rest of the video. But shout out to him for retrieving this, because, of course, I didn't know that this was out there. And shout out to my follower on Twitter who actually told me that this was out here and that this existed. So this is a person right here. Now, as you can see, they have their TikTok name blurred out right here, probably for safety purposes. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe people won't find them because, Candace's little stands, whoever. But it is what it is. But, they were so, afraid they wouldn't put their face out there, even if they had their name blurred out. It is what it is. So, we always saw that infamous picture of Candace Owens standing with the NAACP, which is this one right here. It says it was Esdale or Esdale and the NAACP who aided Owens in 2007 when she was a 17-year-old high school student in her hometown of Stamford, Connecticut. In February of that year, a group of white boys from her school reportedly left voicemails on her cell phone in which they used racial slurs and threatened to kill her. And it has some other stuff down at the bottom, but it gets cut off. But this is the picture right here that we always saw. And we will always bring up when it came to Candace and her antics and her shift or her grift since 2017. And it's like, it's amazing how people just completely ignored all of that, because you would think that this woman never went through anything racial, that she lived a squeaky clean life, that she never dealt or encountered any type of racism or oppression at all in her life. Yet here she is, and that is her right here, when she was 17, standing with the NAACP, getting ready and prepared to file that lawsuit and win, because I think she won like $30-something thousand. And then, you know, that's all the context we had behind this, was just this picture, the story, a little bit of the story itself, and the money that she did get from that lawsuit. Now, when you think about the person who you just heard from, who was a person that went to school with her and knew her personally, even down to the fact that they said their grandmother called her grandmother. So that means that they really knew each other if each other's grandmothers are talking to each other in a communicating way, such as talking to each other over the phone about what happened. So now we have a little bit even more context, because now we're hearing from a person that knew Candace personally. So now we don't have to just rely just on this. Not saying that this was inaccurate, but now that we have a face and a person and a voice to go along with someone who knew her, that makes it even more clear. And they basically said things we already knew, like, you know, this woman grifted, she shifted, she threw black people under the bus. That's what she's known to do, and she's still doing it to this day. But what I say is that her crazy, brain dead supporters completely ostracize that notion and just stick with the Candace that they know now, as if, you know, to just get over it. See, she is the perfect magical Negro to them. Someone who went through something involving them, and then now she is who she is, where she's supporting them and they're supporting her. That's how Candace Owens is, like the archetype of how they want every black person, man or woman, to be. That they've gone through something when it comes to them, and then somehow with the snap of a finger, or maybe some, I don't know, some get out stuff, they have now reemerged from their cocoon, and they present themselves in the way that they are now. That's what they would prefer them to be. Like, y'all saw the video that I did, the Blakaren video I did on Candace, where she was saying that straight white men were under attack. If there's any type of person I would not want to be in America, it would be a straight white man. Well, clearly, Candace, we know you don't want to be a black woman, or let alone a black person. We know that. That's why I kind of call people out surprised that you said you wouldn't want to be a straight white man, because let's be real here. They are the ones that hold the privilege card in their hands. They practically created it for themselves. So, and that's interesting too. And it's crazy how she can just feel like she can get up and grandstand for black Americans, seeing as how she's not even a black American herself. The woman is pathetic in every sense of the word. And shout out to her classmate for making that TikTok video and putting her more on blast. Hopefully it's a snowball effect and more people who knew her, because I'm assuming more people knew who she was, comes out and says some more stuff about her. Maybe some stuff we didn't know. How was Candace as a person when she was in high school? That's what I'd like to know. How was Candace as a person? Because it's amazing how this woman, well, then teenager, then young girl, makes the claim that that racism hit her doorstep, or, came at her, was one way. And now she finds herself cozied up like a ghetto gagger around all these PC men, even married one, procreated with one twice. But like her classmate said, there's money in throwing your people under the bus. There was no money in speaking out against what actually happened to her. She didn't find any comfort there. Remember, She once did the whole grifting thing. She once did the whole going against Donald Trump thing. Like, they actually was able to pull stuff up about that, but they ignore that too. Cause like I said, they need Candace to be the archetype of the magical Negro. They need her. They need her. That's why they constantly and consistently allow her to get away with the stuff she gets away with. But she's going to slip. One day she's going to slip so hard that even they won't be able to defend or back her up. It's going to come to a point where they're going to have to actually put their foot down on her, put the clamps down, and be like, that was going too far. Now we got to get rid of you. But that day, unfortunately, has not come. It has been moments where it almost happened, but not exactly. But that day will come. She just doesn't know it yet. She's unaware of it. But she has had moments where she's almost, and I do mean very well almost, slipped up. Yeah, some people call her out, but calling her out is like not enough for her. But when I tell you, when she has one of the biggest downfalls, this is going to be like a historical moment. This is going to have to be a moment that they're going to have to put in history books. Kids are going to have to read about this one for sure. It would be interesting if it's her kids. But yeah, shout out to Candace's former classmate for speaking out about this. And if there's any more of her classmates out there that got something to say that maybe we don't know about or are unaware of, please do not hesitate to talk.